We're in Daf Nun Daled, Amid Beis. The Mishnah had been telling us various things that a behemoth may not walk out with because it's not a garment, it's a functional protector or strap of some sort. So Gemara says, "Einar chelim yotzes chanunos." Ewes, female lambs may not walk out chanunos. So Yosef Rav Acha, or Ula Kameder Rav Chisda, Yosef Kamar, he gave a suggestion of what this word chanunos is. The mishosha goizes in osan, when they get sheared, so they don't have a lot of wool to protect them. So tovnim la azek b'shamin. So they would take a cotton swab, some sort of plush thing, and they would dip it into oil, and they would put it on its forehead and as a means to keep it warm, so that it not get too cold. Wow, you're giving it such a great treatment. That's a treatment of Mar Ukva, who was wealthy and was the Rosh Beistin. He was the Av Beistin. You're treating him as Mar Ukva. We'll see a little bit more of Mar Ukva soon. So if you do this to him, to these sheep, to these ewes, after they've been sheared, by putting oil on a cotton ball and putting it on its forehead, that's treating it in a really excessively expensive way. He said, you know what chanunas means? He said, b'shosha karas lele, when they are having difficulty in birthing. So as azakit shel shemen. So they would take two such swabs, two such cotton balls of oil, one on the forehead and one on the opening of its womb, so it warms up and it'll help it deliver. Amalei Rav Nachman, so Rav Nachman, who was the son-in-law of the Rish Galusa, also very wealthy, Imkain, he said, Asisa Yalta, you're treating her like my wife is treated in her birth. So Yalta was the daughter of the Rish Galusa, the wife of Rav Nachman. Ela Amar Rav Huna, rather Rav Huna says, rather the meaning is that there's a certain wood in some of the islands, the Yachanun Shemo, and it's called Yachanun. And they take a splinter of that and you put it into the nostril of lambs, kadeshetis atesh, so that it will sneeze, v'yipul darnei rosha, and the worms that are in its nose will fall out. So it helps it sneeze, and that's what this is. And you can't go out with this piece of with this wood in the nose, because that's going to be considered carrying. The Gemara says, so then why would that only be done for the females, not for the males? If it's done for the females, it seems to indicate that it's something specific to the females. So the Gemara says, no, the males don't need it. Kiva the nakri, the menachis charam ba'adodi, memela nafla. Now the males, the rams, are always headbutting each other. So they don't need it because their worms fall out from the headbutting. But the females who don't do that, so they need help getting rid of the worms, and using this splinter in the nose, which makes them sneeze, is what helps. Shimon Nazira says what it means is kisma derisma. It's a different tree, not the yachmon, but the risma. Bishlama the Rav Huna hainu chanunas. Well, if it's yachanun, so it makes sense it's chanunas. But if it's a risma a splinter, el rabbana my chanunas, what's the word chanunas mean? Chanunas means it's the compassionate thing, because they can help themselves to get rid of the worms, and so that's what it means. It means putting a splinter of compassion, of rachamim. So chanunas is from the word of compassion. Ve'ena egel yotze begimun. So my egel begimun. What does this mean? That a calf cannot go out with gimun? Amar Rav Huna. So Rav Huna said barnira. It's a small yoke that they put on the head of the calf, not in order to keep it straight or anything, but rather that it learns how to bend its neck, and so that when it becomes an adult, it will be able to take a yoke and therefore plow and pull as needed. So Amar Rabbi Elazar me'ein mashma the hay gimel lishna de mechel. From where do you see that the word gimun means to bend its neck? The siv, as it says, halachof ke'egmon rosho. Do you, as the pasuk says, is it like bowing its like a bowing its neck like egmon, which over there the word gimun, bending its neck down to bow its head. So you see that this word gimun is a bowing of the head. And a cow cannot go out with porcupine hides on its udders in order to protect it. The Abdillah, this is made for it. So that some creature, an aluka, that's called in Old French sansus. I don't know what that is. Should not suckle at it. I don't know what it is. Maybe our school has, or Rabbi Steinsaltz have something to say what this animal is. But there was some animal that would attack the cows and suckle at it, and so the owners would put this on. Jules.
A leech. Said a leech or something. Yeah.
And it cannot walk out with a bow between its a strap between its ears. So what is that? So as you remember, we saw a couple of days ago that there was a machlokes between Rav and Shmuel. Really, it's a machlokes earlier whether or not the prohibition is any type of strap, or only if it's there for beauty. But if it's there actually for shimur, to guard it, it is permissible. Ila Rav, so Gemara says, Ila Rav, if it's according to Rav, bein l'noy, bein l'shamar, regardless of whether it's there for beauty or if it's there for shimur, for guarding it, it's going to be prohibited. Ila Shmuel, but according to Shmuel, l'noy, aser, if it's there for beauty, it's going to be prohibited. But l'shamar, if it's there to protect the animal, it is actually going to be permissible. So basically, we've had a list of things that are prohibited for the animal because it's not a garment, and it may fall off. So either it doesn't really protect it, it's excessive protection, and is not necessary. It doesn't. It may fall off, and you may carry it, or it's not there. It's not doing anything as a garment. It's there to some other function. And therefore, it's going to be considered carrying because it's a secondary function and not a garment of the animal itself. Gemara then explains the last line in the Mishnah, which the Mishnah tells that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah's cow walked out with this bow, even though the Mishnah it was prohibited. So Parasa Shor Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. It walked out with this bow. So Gemara says, Parasa, his cow, as if he had one cow. Was there one cow to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah? Well, Amar Rav said, Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav, Teresa Alfi Egli have a ma'aser Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah me'edre kol shata. Every year, kol shata v'shata. Every year, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah would take ma'aser, the tithe, meaning the new the new additions to his herd every year were 120,000 or 130,000, that he would take 12 or 13,000 meiser from his herd. So he was enormously wealthy, as we know. And so what did it mean that his cow, as if he had one cow? Tues points out that after the destruction of Beis Hamikdash, at some point there was an enactment not to take the tithes, the meiser anymore, because they may not be able to keep the halacha properly, take it to Yerushalayim, and you couldn't shecht it as you couldn't bring karbanos. So and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who was the nasi at 18 after Rabbi Gamliel, who was after Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, and Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was nasi, was the leader beyond the destruction of Beis Hamikdash. So he could not have been very old at the destruction of Beis Hamikdash, and yet he was tithing. So there are various interpretations of this is what's going on. But Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was enormously wealthy at a very young age, and was taking meiser at he clearly had a herd, more than one in his herd. So that's the Gemara's question. So Tana lo shelo hisa. The Brisa says we're not talking about his own cow. Ela shel shchenase. His neighbor had a cow, and she liked to adorn the cow with this bow. However, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is taken to task in our Mishnah about it because he didn't say anything to her. He didn't tell her, dear neighbor, you shouldn't have that on your cow on Shabbos. So Rav, Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Chaviva. So a list of 4 chachamim, and now the master they teach, and the Gemara interrupts by says, by the way, whenever we're in Seder Moed, and we're talking about these 4, actually one needs to be replaced. Bekula the Seder Moed ki chol ki hayzuga. Anytime we have this set, Chalufi Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yonasan, you take out Rabbi Yochanan, he's not in the set in Seder Moed. Rather, it's Rabbi Yonasan. Kol mi she'efshel limchus la'anshe beisa v'le'micha nitvas al anshe beisa. Anybody, so that what they taught was that anybody that has the ability to teach and to guide his family, and they're making a mistake and he doesn't guide them, they are held responsible. So somebody who's, even if they're not aiding and abetting, but they have a knowledge of something going on and don't help change course, they are held responsible. And if he could tell the people at his city they're making a mistake and guide them, and he doesn't, so he's held responsible for his city. If he can change the world and he doesn't, well, then the household of the Reish Galusa are held responsible for the entire world because they are so powerful and they could change things and they don't. As Rabbi Chanina said, what's the meaning of the verse? Hashem will sit in justice and adjudicating against the leaders, the elders of the community, and its princes. If the princes sin, what did the elders do? And now we're on Nun Hey Amid Aleph. Ella Ema Al Zakenim Shalamicha V'Sar. You have to say the reason is because the elders did not rebuke and help the princes change course. We're going to go into a list of cases and teachings in regards to the mitzvah of tachacha, the obligation of rebuking someone when possible, when it could be effective, and helping them get it right. Rav Yehuda was a student of Shmuel, and he was sitting in front of Shmuel. A certain woman came katzavcha kamei, and she was crying and screaming that she'd been injured, and no one's taking care of her. Somebody had done something to her, and she's not being v'la mishkach ba. And Shmuel also was not listening to her. Amar le. So Rav Yehuda tells his teacher Shmuel, "L'savale mar." Don't you interpret this verse the way I do? Don't you think that this is the meaning of the verse? Otem oznim iza'akas dal gam hu yikra v'layana. Somebody who seals his ears not to hear the cry of the poor. Also, when he calls, Hashem will not answer. And the simple meaning means somebody who is ignoring the poor. But the Rav Yehuda saying to Rav Yehuda saying to Shmuel, don't you also understand that it means not someone that financially is poor, but also somebody who sociologically is poor, somebody who doesn't have the ability to get justice. It means any type of poor. If you don't listen to the cries of those that need help. Amar le. So Shmuel said to him, Shinana, you are right. However, if you look at the end of that verse, it says over there, as he's going to bring from the pasuk, that the punishment is fire. So he says, Shinana reishech, your head, meaning me, bekariri. I'm in cold water on this. No problem for me. Have a reisha the reisha, but the head of your head, meaning my leader, the av beistin, b'chamimi, he will get punished in this hot water, in this fire, because hayasav mar ukva av beistin, because mar ukva, the head of the basin, is sitting here, and he's not doing anything. Now mar ukva was also a student of Shmuel, but he became the head of the basin, and Shmuel couldn't really tell him what he needed to do, being that he's the Av Basin, so he's now the head over Shmuel. And Shmuel was saying that, yes, it's true that I'm your teacher of Yehuda, and I'm also the teacher of Mar Ukva, but Mar Ukva is a head of the basin, and he's the one that needs to do things. He's the head of the basin. And so even though he called him the head of his head, he was rebuking him for not listening to this woman. The Chsiv, as it says, Beis David, the Navi Yirmiyahu says, the house of David, Ka'amar Hashem. So says Hashem, Dinu laboker mishpat. In the morning, adjudicate justice. Vatzilu gazal miyad hashek, and save theft from the hands of those that are withholding that which is due. Pen teitze ka'esh chamasi, for if not, like fire, my anger will come forth. Va'ara ve'ein mechabe, it'll burn and no one can extinguish it. Mipnei ra ma'al aleichem, because of your evil plans. So we see that the house of David and was being told, you have to keep justice, and if not, a fire will come forth. And this was Rav Yehuda's complaint to Shmuel, and Shmuel's complaint about Mar Ukva. Amalei Rabbi Zera Rabbi Simon, L'chachini Mar Lahani Debeirish Galusa. Rabbi Zera said to Rabbi Simon, why don't you take the household of the Reish Galusa to task for things they were doing wrong? We'll see many times. We saw a few days ago some things that were going on Shabbos that shouldn't have happened, and many other times we'll see that in the household of Reish Galusa, not everybody was up to par. Amalayla Mekabli Mina, he said there's no point, they're not going to listen to me. And as we saw in the previous Gemara, at the bottom of Nun Dalet Amud Beis, that the Gemara said anybody that has the ability to redirect someone and doesn't. But if you don't have the ability, if they're not going to listen, it's better not to say anything. As Tues says over here, that it's better that people be inadvertent sinners than be intentional sinners. So sometimes it's better not to tell someone if they're not going to listen anyhow, because then they're going to do it intentionally. Also, we'll see more. The Gemara says various other times where one should not rebuke someone or redirect them. In any case, so he said, "Why don't you say anything to the people of the household of the Reish Galusa?" He said, "Because they won't listen. Even if they don't listen, you should say something." The Amar Abacha Bar Chanina may olam liyatzami the tevim prei Hakadosh Baruch Hu b'chazer be'lara. As Rabacha said, that Hashem never said something positive, this a promise to do good, that he changed course on, besides for once. Besides for this time, the Sifra, it says, "V'yemer Hashem Elav." This is in Yechezkel, and he sees this vision where Hashem sends messengers to take care of the evil people in town. V'yemer Hashem Elav. Hashem says to him, "Avor b'toch ha'ir," walk through the town, go through the town, the city. B'soch Yerushalayim, through Yerushalayim. V'savisa tav al mitzvos ha'anoshim anochem ha'ne'anokim. Put a tav, the letter tav, on the forehead of all the people that are crying out and complaining on kol teivos hanasas b'tocha, for all of the evils that are done in the city. Amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu leGavriel. Hashem said, so now the Gemara explains, Hashem said to Gavriel, the angel, Lech v'Rashem ha'mitzvah shel tzadikim tav shel dio, put a ink tav on the forehead of tzadikim, v'ha'mitzvah shel Rishayim tav shel dam, and on the forehead of the Rishayim you put a tav of blood. Kadei shel yishatev b'hem malachei Kabbalah, and this way the angel of death, the angels of destruction, will know who to attack. Amra midas adil l'fnei Kadosh Baruch Hu, but justice said before Hashem, wait, Rebbeinu Shalom, Master of the universe, what's the difference between the tzaddikim and the Rishayim? Amar Allah, Hashem says to the attribute of justice, Halolu tzaddikim gamurim, halolu Rishayim gamurim. These are good people, they've done good, and these are bad people, they've done bad. Amar Allah, Father Rebbeinu Shalom says, Master of the universe, the attribute of justice says they could have stopped the other people and they didn't. I know that they would not have listened. The Rishayim would not have listened. Amar Lefanov. So the justice attribute, the attribute of strict justice, said before Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom, Master of the universe, fine, you knew that they're not going to do anything, but did they know? How did they know they wouldn't listen? They should have said something. Again, Tues points out from here, we see that if you know they're not going to listen, don't say anything. But if you don't know, you have to at least try. So now he explains the verse over there. The two psukim later, it says the elderly and the young, unmarried women, tafanoshim, even babies and women, tahar gula mashchis, the mashchis, the plague killed. Balkol ish asher olav tov al tikshu. But anybody that has the tov, do not touch. And it says mimikdashi, and from the mikdash, from the holy, you start. And as it says, that indeed the death started from the people that were the elders in front of the house. And Tana Rav Yosef, or Yosef taught, I'll take mikdashi, not from my mikdash, meaning the structure, element kudashai, from those that are holy to me. These are the people that fulfill the Torah from Aleph to Tav completely, and yet they were held accountable because they didn't keep others and guide others on the path. And therefore, it says that these 6 people, or the images of these 6 people, came through the upper gates, Asher Mifna Tzafona, which turns northward, the Ishkli Mapatza B'Yadeh, and each one comes with his travel in his hand, the Ish Echad B'Tocham, and there was one in the midst of them, Lavush Abadim, dressed in the linen garments, the Kesas HaSofer B'Masnav, and he had the writing tools on his shoulder, and they came and stood near the copper of the Mizbeach. The Gemara says, what are you talking about, copper of the Mizbeach? Mizbeach HaNachoshes Mihave, at the days of Yechezkel, That was after the Beis Hamikdash. The last part of the Beis Hamikdash, the Beis Hamikdash time, the last part of the Mizbeach, it was no longer a copper Mizbeach, which was in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle, in the traveling Mishkan, but rather in the Beis Hamikdash, it had a stone, a much larger Mizbeach, but it was made of stone. Mizbeach and Achashim Yehava. So rather, Amalu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what Hashem was saying, Haschilu Mimakim Shomrim Shira Lefana. Start from the place near the Mizbeach where the copper is, where the trumpets that the Kahanim, that the Leviim would play. That's where you start. You start from the Leviim, from those that are the leaders of the community, and they should have guided the community, and they did it. This image of the 6 people coming through, who are these 6 people? Arav Chisda, they were the attribute of Ketzef and Af and Chemo, Mashres and Mashber and Machala, various forms of anger and destruction. Mashna Tav. So why is it that there was a Tav, the letter Tav, the last letter in the Aleph base that was put on their foreheads? Amar Rav Tav for Tichya, Tav for Tammuz. Rav says Tav is there for you shall live, you shall die. And the Tav is really the prefix, which means for you, you shall. Shmuel Amar Tamaz Chus Avos. Shmuel says what it means is it's the end of the merit of the patriarchs. The Avos no longer have merit. Tosfos points out that the merit is no longer there, but the covenant to them remains. The bris Avos remains, but the covenant, Shmuel says, but the merit of the Avos, Shmuel says, ended. The Avos were there teaching. Avram called out in the name of Hashem, constantly teaching. If you cease to teach and call out and to guide others, then that's the end of the Schos Avos. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Tachan Schos Avos. And Rabbi Yochanan says that it have grace of the Schos of the merit of the Avos. Rish Lakish Amatov Sefcha Samach Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Rish Lakish says that it is the end of the seal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because the seal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is emes. That's the seal, the signet seal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is emes, truth, and the tav is the end of it. So we have whether it means you shall live, you shall die, the end of the merit of the avos. You shall have the contrary. It should be that you should have the grace of the merit of the avos, or it's the end of the seal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu of truth. Now, Shmuel ben Achmeni Amar Elu b'nei Adam shekimu satera kula mi'alaf tav. The tav means that these are people that were completely a whole in their own service of the Torah. However, they didn't help others and guide them in Torah. So what does this mean? When is the end of the merit, the schus of the Avos? So Amar Rav Rav says the end of the merit of the Avos came in the days of Hosea, the prophet Hosea. Shneimar, it says, "Ba'ata agale es navlusa le'eni mahavel." I will uncover her withering away in the eyes of her beloved. And no man can save her from my hands. Hashem is saying, no man, the Avos, cannot save Bnei Yisrael from what I'm bringing to them. Shmuel says, Mimei Chazoel. It's from the days of Chazal. Shneimar says of Chazal, Melech Aram, Chazal, the king of Aram, Lochatz es Yisrael kol yemei Yochatz, pressured, it besieged and pressured Bnei Yisrael all the days of Yehoyachaz. It says over there, Vayochan Hashem osam vayirachamim. Hashem was compassionate on them and had rachamim on them. Vayifen aleim leman barisa es Avram es Yitzchak ves Yaakov, and turned to them in the name of his bris, of his covenant, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. V'lo ava hashchisam, And Hashem did not will to destroy them or to throw them out from in front of him ad ata, until this point. And so what Shmuel is saying is up until this point, but from here on, it no longer applies. Which Tues points out that contradicts his point, because Tues said that the merit of the Avos ended, but not the covenant. The covenant has not ended. And over here, it seems that even Bris, Laman Bariso, the covenant also ended. So Tues discusses that. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Omar Mimei Eliyahu. It's actually from the days of Eliyahu. Shene'emar, for it says, "Vayiba lo mincha vayigash Eliyahu hanavi vayomer Hashem Elokei Avram Yitzchak v'Yisrael." Eliyahu, in trying to prove to the people that the prophets, the Nevi'ei Habal, the prophets of the Baal were false, had them make a mincha. And then he turns to his mincha, and he turns to Hashem and he says, Hashem, God of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yisrael. Hayom yivada ki ata Elokim b'Yisrael. Let it be known now in the merit of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov that you are God in Yisrael. Vani avdecha b'dvarcha asisi es hakol dvar be'ela, and it is through your word that I did all these things. But it was only until that day, and from there on, there's no longer the merit of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. This is according to Rishu ben Levi. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Mimei Chizkiah. And Rabbi Yochanan says it's in the days of Chizkiyahu. Shene'emar, for it says, Lamar ba'am Yisrael l'shalom and kates, to the great leadership and to the endless peace. Al kisei David va'al mamlachto, on the throne of David and on his kingdom. Lahachin osa l'sa'ada, to prepare her and to support her. Mishpat of its tzedakah, in justice and in righteousness. Mi'ata ve'ad olam kinas Hashem tzavakas tasazos. From here on and forever, the justice of Hashem shall do this. It is the justice of Hashem that will save the people, and not the merit of the Avos. So you see that from that time on, the merit of the Avos, the Schus Avos, no longer is there. It is the justice of Hashem that saves Bnei Yisrael. Going back to the theme of rebuking and taking responsibility for people that you could guide and encourage. Amar Rabbi Abi Misa B'Lechit. Nobody dies without having sinned. Ve'ein Yisurim Ba B'Le'avin. And there's never pain that comes to a person without some sin. There's no death without sin. For it says, the soul that sinned is the one that shall die. Ben Yisab Avanav, a son doesn't die in the sin of the father. Ve'av Yisab Avanaben, and a father doesn't carry the son, the sin of the son. Tzitkas atzadik alav tihiyeh, the righteousness of those that are righteous is for them. V'rishas harasha alav tihiyeh, and the sin of the sinners is for them. And so you see, if somebody died, it must be that they had sinned. Ein yisurim ba b'le'avin, and there's no yisurim without there's no pain without having sinned. The Sefer, it says, "If akadti b'shevet pisham v'nagoyim avonim," I will remember or designate with a rod their sin, and with blemishes, with the negoyim their sin. So again, we see that it's punishment that it comes on account of someone's sins. We're now on Nun Hey Amid base. So the Gemara is going to ask for a question on it. You see that a brisa that says that the angel said before Hashem, Rabbanu Shalom, Master of the universe, why is it that Adam Arishan was punished with death? I commanded him a small mitzvah, an easy mitzvah, and he didn't do it. And so that's why this death, there was an opportunity for him to fulfill what he needed to do, and he didn't do it. So there's that. What about Moshe and Aaron? They completed the entire Torah. They listened to everything you said, and yet you brought death to them. Amar Lei. So Hashem responds to the angels. Amar Lehem, Mikra echad l'tzadik v'la rasha. So a pasuk from Koheles, where Koheles wonders why is it that there's the same occurrence that happens to those that are good and those that are bad. Mikra echad l'tzadik v'la rasha l'tov v'la, and all have the same thing happens to somebody that is good or somebody that's bad, and that's what Hashem responded. The Gemara says no. We have a brisa that says differently. The Tani we learned Moshe and Aaron also died on account of their shortcomings, their sin. Shemema, for it says, Yan lo emantem bi. It is because you did not bring about trust in me. Emantem bi. If you had brought about trust in me, lo yehagia zamanchem lepatim enolim, you would not have, your time for passing would not have come. So Moshe and Aaron, on account of not leading Bnei Yisrael in the Emunah at the time of the rock, the water coming from the rock after Miriam passing away, that's why they passed from the world. Meisivi, we ask another contradiction to what Rabbi Ami said, that a misa b'lachet. Arba meisiv eter shal nachash. The Brisa says that there are 4 that died because of the serpent, meaning because of the serpent misleading Chava, which ended up that Adam ate from the tree, and therefore there was death brought into the world. So there are 4 people that never sinned on their own and died simply because of the serpent, meaning because death was brought to the world, and everybody essentially will pass on. Good morning, Benji. Arba Mesa Better Shalachash. Ve'elahin, and these are them. Binyamin ben Yaakov, Binyamin the son of Yaakov, right? The youngest of the 12 tribes. Binyamin died without having sinned. Amram Avi Moshe, Amram the father of Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Yishai Avi David, Yishai the father of David. Kilav ben David, and David's son Kilav. There are different versions of this in different midrashim, but that's the one the Gemara has. The Kula Gemara, and they're all a tradition. Besides Alabama Yishai Avi David, besides for in Yishai, there's a hint in the pasuk itself. It's not just a tradition that they didn't ever sin. In the Mefurish Beikra, it's in the pasuk. The Chsifra, it says, "Ve'es Amasa Samav Shalom Tachas Yoav." Yoav was David Amelech's general in the army, Yoav, and he was his nephew. As the pasuk tells us, that Yishai was the father of Tzeruiah, and Tzeruiah was the sister of David, and Tzeruiah was the mother of Yoav ben Tzeruiah. It also says that Absalom, when he deposed his father, and during that coup, he took Amasa, his first cousin, as his general in place of Yoav. Amasa some Avshalom Tachas Yoav as the Sar Tzava, Al Hatzava on the military. Amasa, who is this Amasa? Ben Ish. He is the son of a certain man, Shmo Yisra Yisraeli. He is Yisra, the Israelite. Asher Ba'al Abigail Bas Nachash, who was the husband or had come to this woman Abigail, who was the daughter of Nachash, Achos Tzeruiah, and she was the sister of Tzeruiah. So David has a sister Tzeruiah, and he has a sister Abigail, and Yisra had a child with Abigail named Amasa, and that's who he chose as a leader, as his military leader. Aim Yoav, and Tzeruiah is the mother of Yoav. So it's Avshalom's first cousin. It's Yoav's first cousin. It's the son of Abigail. Now the Gemara challenges. It says, wait, if it's the mother, if it's Tzeruiah and Abigail are the sisters, the mother of either Yoav and Amasa, and it says that their father is Nachash. the snake? V'chibas Nachash Havia? Was she the daughter of Nachash? V'alebas Yishai Havia? She's the daughter of Yishai. The Chsiv, as the pasuk tells us in Divrei Hayomim, V'achisehem, and the sisters of David and the rest of his brothers. V'achisehem Tzruya v'Abigail. That Yishai had the two daughters, Abigail and Tzruya. Elabas Misha Meis Bet Yishanachash. Where the meaning over there is that to say that Yishai was not involved in this sin, and he died on account of the serpent misleading Adam and Chava. So Mani, whose opinion is this? Is it the first brisa which says that even Moshe died without sin? So since it didn't list Moshe and Aaron in the four that died without a sin, must be it's like the brisa of Rabbi Shimon and Elazar, which says that Moshe and Aaron also sinned. And yet it says that 4 people died without sin. So you see that it's possible for someone to die without sin. It is also possible for someone to get punishment in this world or pain in this world, not as punishment. Pain in this world could be for many other things. And as the Gemara tells us in Brachas, that a person should check himself every time that they have pain to see what they can better themselves. But if they don't find anything, then they should know that it's coming as merit and as redirection or as a challenge. Tiyufta the Ravami, Tiyufta, indeed, it's a contradiction to Ravami, who said that there's never pain without sin and never death without sin, that it's possible. Aram Shmuel Bar Achmeni Amar Rabbi Yonasan. So now the Gemara in the theme of taking responsibility for other people not sinning and for one's own sins. The Gemara is going to tell us a list of cases where the Torah tells us, or Tanakh tells us, that there were people that sinned, and various opinions of whether they actually sinned in the sin that was mentioned in the Torah, or that they're being held accountable, like in our Mishnah, where Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is being held accountable for an inaction and not stopping someone else. So too, when the Torah says that someone sinned, it doesn't necessarily mean that the sin the Torah mentioned is theirs, but that they overstepped a boundary, either by not telling someone not to sin or by breaching that area of that the Torah mentions enough that it considers it as if they did that sin. Amar Rabbi Yonasan, Amar Shmuel Rachmeni, Amar Rabbi Yonasan. Shmuel ben Achmeni said in the name of Rabbi Yonasan, Kolayma Ruvain Chata, Eina Elotoy. Anybody that says Ruvain sin is only mistaken. There's a lot of discussion as to why it doesn't say he's mistaken. Instead, it says is not anything but mistaken. Some say that it means that this is absolutely a mistake, or to say quite the contrary. No, it means if you think it in the same way that you would take your a common day sinner in this way, then you're mistaken. There's much more going on than what meets the eye. In any case, so what does the Torah say about Reuven? It says about Reuven that he went after Rachel died and he slept with Bilhah. So Shanema, for it says Vayihu b'nei Yaakov shneim asar. It says that right immediately after that story, it says that the children of Yaakov were 12, to tell you that they were equally good. That they were all equally good as one. So what does it mean that he lay with Bilhah? That he walked in and he pulled out the bed of his father from the tent of Bilhah. And so by messing with his father's bed, he got involved with his father's marriage. And that in and of itself is a breach of tznius. And therefore, therefore the Torah counts it as if he slept with her. Rabbi Shimon Elazar says that tzaddik, that righteous person, Reuven, must have been protected from that sin. It cannot be that he did what the Torah says he did. Could it be that his descendants are going to stand on Mount Avel? That, and they will then say, cursed is the one who lies with their father's wife. Yet he himself would fall to that sin. So then what does it mean when it says, and he lay with Bilhah, the concubine of his father? Elban imotova. What he was doing is he was mad about and he was protecting the shame of his mother. Omar, he said, I said, Sarah, fine. My mother was the first wife of my father. But then my father took in another wife, her sister. Okay, but not their concubines, not their maidservants. Now that Rachel is dead, my father should move in with my mother, not with Bilhah. So but the maidservants of my mother's sister should be the concubine. So he moved the bed of Yaakov out from Bilhah's tent into his mother's tent. Some say that actually was a double atrocity, a double mistake, because by moving the bed of Yaakov, he also messed with the Shekhinah. The relationship of Yaakov with his wives was one that brought Shekhinah into the tent. Rashi actually says that it was a separate bed there for Shekhinah. Many ask where Rashi knows this from. But in any case, the relationship of Yaakov with his wife brought Shekhinah, and by messing with that, he messed also with Shekhinah. Tomorrow we'll continue with Reuven and others that the Tanakh says sin, and the Gemara is going to analyze whether or not they sin, what their sin was.
Shkaya.